Hello.
Hello, welcome to Feel and Act Money. This is a podcast designed to talk about finances and feelings.
Yes, we are Maria and Danusia, a Brazilian and a Venezuelan living in Estonia.
Yes, we live in Estonia. We met here and we love to come here and talk about many topics that involve numbers but also involve so many deep things inside of ourselves, right?
Yes. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about you not being broke, but just
Not organized.
Yes. This is episode number 7. If this is the first time you hear us, go back and listen to the previous 6 ones. And if you have any ideas of any other topics we should be talking about related to money and your emotions, let us know. We'll be happy to consider it.
Yes, definitely. And to start today, speaking about this word that we always hear, like, I'm broke, I feel so broke. What is that about? We are really broke, or we are just not putting attention where your money is going or where it's coming? Of course, there are seasons in life we get broke. I already got broke in my 20s. Like, I have a lot of loans. I had a college. I had a car. I want to have everything at once. I was living the life.
Yes.
But what in general? Like, can we spend our whole life saying we are broke?
Yeah, it's true. Like, you hear people, and it's usually the same type of sentence for the same person. Some of them would say, I don't earn enough, or like, oh, I am never going to be able to retire, or oh God, I'm broke, like I can't do that. But at the same time, we're all living. Of course, we are here focusing on people who are living an average life, like most of us listening to this content are. And we're all out there, right? Having our food, having our clothes, having somewhere to sleep. I don't think that's being broke.
Yeah, that's true. Of course, we get paid, and then I have a, let's call a normal job, as people say. Like, I have a 9 to 5 job, and of course, the paycheck comes, and I pay my bills. I go for vacation, and then, yeah, where is the money going, right? But well, it needs to go somewhere. But the thing is thinking about exactly this question: where this money is going, what intention I'm putting into this money, right?
Yeah, and that you just reminded me of how that's also a very common sentence is, I don't know where my money is going. But if you don't know where your money, it's your money, you're the one sending it somewhere. If you don't know where it's going, who knows?
Yes. I like to say when I'm doing my consulting, because we also are entrepreneurs, right? That first things first. So first things first, let's look at the numbers. I'm afraid, and people say, I'm afraid, I don't know how to start, and all these blocks that are avoiding them to visualize what is happening, because visualization is really important, right?
Yes, that's true. And I think when you say organize, a lot of people think about restriction and control, and they feel limited, and it's like, oh, but I don't want to just be putting every cent in there. But I think that word visualize is very important, because maybe what you're thinking is an Excel table, and not everybody likes Excel. I mean, I like it. But I know not everyone does, and that's okay. Organize looks different for different people, right? Like, when you work with different clients, what are some methods that you see people are kind of trying to see what helps them see their money?
Yeah, I always try to tell them, come with a notebook, let's take notes. And then with the next sessions, we realize what is working. But there are envelopes you can use, like, to put your money if you want to get physical, you want to see the money, or there are some apps that can help, right? But I always start on paper, like, let's start right now, like, only if someone refuses, like, no, I don't want to do, but it usually is not the case. Like, start putting in the paper, then we realize what works best for you. And it's just as Maria said, there are things that we're just repeating, like I said, a normal job. What is a normal job?
Yeah.
There is no such a thing. What is getting broke?
Yeah.
Right? So it's the same thing, like, I'm not a budget person, but you don't need to budget everything you buy. I just want you to have an idea, how much did I spend online shopping? shopping online? How much did I spend with food, real food? How much did I spend eating out? And then you see, okay, if now I want to contribute for my retirement, save more money for my retirement, where is the category that I need to decrease my attention, to decrease the amounts I'm putting there, so then I can have more money to invest, for example.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of visualizing which pot I'm putting more money to, you know.
Yeah. And actually before money was digital, that was a way in which people organized their money, right? They had jars or I don't know, piggy banks or something where, well, maybe you didn't see what was inside, but at least the visual element was a reminder to save money, right? Because we are heavily visual. And I didn't do that connection until today, but when I work with clients, I invite them to use writing for some of the exercises that we do. We don't do it in person like in your case. These are things that they do in their own time. I have all the templates in digital because I think I've worked with all of my clients online. But I always recommend them, if you have to write it first down so that you can feel it and connect it, then it's going to be more useful, because when you're using your body, writing with your hand, there is a stronger brain-body connection that triggers a lot of emotions. Memory works better as well. And I didn't think about how important it is to, even if you do like Excel, write some of these things down at the beginning, especially if it's a very new thing for you, like getting used to visualizing what's happening with your money. Where is it going, right? So what we're saying here, getting organized is not a template and a table and boring and being someone you're not. Because what you were saying, people say, I'm broke, I'm not a budget person, are all identity expressions. You don't have to be someone you're not, but within who you are, you can find things that allow you to see what you're not seeing today. Why do you think it's important to visualize then our money?
Yeah, I think as we did a masterclass back in February here in Estonia about safety net, I think it's really important, and people want to skip. They want to invest, and I'm like, look, if you cannot save money for a safety net, how can you invest? And I know invest gives you this feeling of, I'm seeing the money growing, but then if it goes down at some moment, because investments, they go up and down, then you immediately feel bad about it. If you don't have a safety net, if you don't have like that safety net is basically what I said about first things first. Before investing, you should build a pot of some money that will cover you for emergencies. Yeah. Or opportunities, as I say, because when I was in Brazil, broke, let's say, I left the US, I didn't know what I would do with my life. I have my savings, which I would plan to stay 6 months paying for my cost of living. But then I found a job in 3 months once I was in Brazil, which was the job that I came to Estonia. And what I need to do? Buy a ticket for leaving Brazil and reach Estonia, which was quite expensive. So that was an opportunity, a job opportunity that I would lose if I didn't have my savings. Or I would get money from the bank and I would get installments to pay or things like that. So that's why it's really important to have a safety net.
Yeah,
right?
When people have a problem thinking about why I need a safety net, one thing we actually recommend is think about a situation you found yourself, or a friend or a family member that you saw were struggling with something they didn't expect to happen, whether it was an accident, a health issue, or an opportunity, like in the case of a job, where they couldn't act on it or they had to rely on someone else because they didn't have that safety net. And actually, it's funny because in an episode we talk about the safety net. Before having that masterclass, we invited our friend Shannon, who is a spiritual coach, and I loved how she added to the definition of safety net also people who support you. Like, it's not bad to count on people and to rely on people, but it's about, if we're all capable, you know, our bodies, our minds work, and we can all contribute in a way, then it's kind of like too much of a burden to count on someone just because. If we all have our safety net, then we can all help each other without putting anyone under too much stress. So yes, count on people, but do what you can do for yourself. And that's what having a safety net is about. But I think
this is just one of the steps of getting organized. That's why we used to say you just need a system that works for you, right? And this system is just basically putting every, let's say, every aspect of your money in a box. So I need a safety net for emergencies. So I need this is for emergencies. I need money from retirement, so I will invest. I need to pay off a mortgage or so you need to organize yourself. Even if you want to pay off debt. We talked about this before. And it's funny, after the masterclass, one of the people who attended to the masterclass told me, oh, you're going on vacation? Because right after the masterclass, so you're talking about saving money or spending money on vacation? So it's a wrong mindset also, because I'm going for vacation because I have my money saved for emergencies if anything happens in my life, but I still can have vacation.
Yes.
I'm not going to stop living my life and just save. This is not healthy as well. This is why you need to organize yourself, or you get obsessed of not saving money, or you get obsessed around saving too much. So and then of course we are humans, so the thoughts comes to our mind when we are facing a situation. But when you sit and you organize and you know what come first, what come next, what I can do now, where should I put my energy now, where my money goes now, then everything makes sense and you keep living your life. That's what we are here for. And I heard also, I don't know what you think about that, but I heard a lot of people saying, I wanted to do this, but I will do when I get retired.
Yes.
But you don't know if you will get retired with the same health, the same energy, and you have a lot of costs too. Probably you need to do some you need to pay for other things that you don't imagine now. So you have costs as well when you get retired. So you need to live your life now. You need to organize your life now.
Yes. I think that is probably an avoidant approach, which is I will do it later. It feels so overwhelming. I don't even know where to start from. That is easier if I say I will do it later. Whenever we push things for later, it's because we feel overwhelmed at the moment, like we can't because we don't have the energy or the time or the knowledge or the emotional understanding. And I've been thinking while I was hearing you about it's like you need to understand where your money is going, right? You need to have your money categories. In reality, these are our life categories, right? So if you don't even know where to start from, like one very small exercise that I'm thinking you probably also do it with your clients, and I do it with my when we get there. And I say when we get there because we do a lot of emotional organization first, and I will talk briefly about that, is you look at your bank account for the previous 3 months. And very quickly, you look at what are some of the expenses that I would repeat because they're necessary, like grocery shopping or your rent. What are some things that I would do them again? They're not necessity, but this is important for me. Like, I don't know, I go with my friends to the cinema once a month. We get together. We're all mothers. We're so busy, but we have that one date per month where we do it. Then you would mark it, right? And then things that you don't even remember or you feel kind of regret. And those are the ones, all those things will first give you, what even are my categories? Because I don't know how you feel about, there's so many solutions out there. Like if you try this budget, this is treating the outside part. But as you were saying, this is personal finance. So you should have your personal categories. There are big categories we all have. Like we all need the basics to survive. Food, clothes, and a roof to live in. But outside of that, what is pleasure for each person, or how much they want to say proof, what's the expression, your future. This is very personal. Some people will want a safety net of 3 months, others 6, others 9, others 12, because they're more anxious or because they have people that depend on them, or maybe some of them have more trust in their abilities to generate money for themselves, and they're like, I'm okay with a safety net of the minimum, which is 3, right? But in the end, it's not just categories for the sake of categories or money for the sake of money. It's like money, it's a tool or a channel for the things you do with your life, right? And the part of emotion, I was thinking, I always have this image in my head because it works so well for me. Like there's a lot of visuals out there online on how when you go to therapy or when you write, right, in a journal, before you do it, if you look at your head, there's like a knot of thoughts and emotions, and after you do it, those knots become kind of clear lines, right? Like you get some order, and so order is not a table. Order is facing the emotion to know why you feel stressed about that expense, for example, or celebrating, because just as you were describing, like a lot of the how come are you going to vacation and you're talking about saving, the fact that you have order, even if you have debts, and I would love you to talk a little bit more about that, even if you have debts to pay, you can still enjoy life because life is now, right? So I think the problem is when we take those two extremes, the extremely organized person that in reality is just using organization as a way to cover their anxieties and fears, which I have been that person, by the way. Mm-hmm. Or the person that is like, who cares about saving? What if I'm not alive?
I was this person before.
What if I'm not alive today? And the truth is that the reality is somewhere in the middle. Like none of those realities are completely wrong in the essence. They're just wrong in the excess, in the extreme, right? Yeah. And both of them have to face different emotions that are kind of dragging them, right?
Right, definitely. And that reminds me something I always, when I'm going through half of my consulting, and then I already got to know the person I'm dealing with, then we are building a system that works for that person, right? We're building a system. And then I realize people, it depends of the year they're thinking about December, like because the end of year and this will happen the end of year. And I'm like, look, are you a summer person? I'm an autumn person. I was telling Maria, like, let's build a system for a year. And your year is not going to end in December. Mm-hmm. Your year is going to end when you feel motivated to do things in life, right? I like to sit down around October, look at everything, see what I have done last year is working, or if I need to improve, then I plan the next year and I follow through, mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to pressure myself. And then when I tell my customers about that, usually their reaction is like, oh, that's right. Yeah. So I feel more motivated to do this and that. And usually December is such a mistake because what happens in that month doesn't happen in the next 11 months of the year, in your new year, because this is just a month that is a mess for everybody. A lot of things happen in December, right? And you feel pressure, you're thinking about what I have done this year and blah, 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 what I want to do next year, my New Year resolution. And you feel so overwhelmed with your finances maybe, and I don't think this is a good moment, but if it's a good moment for some people, go for it. I usually get into this deep understanding of the person, see how they feel, like, okay, plan your year from summer to summer. Here we have the seasons. Let's say you are in Brazil, right? It's like we don't have all the seasons, but then plan for March to March, like pick a month and do your organization, your system with 12 months, but choose the month that works better for you.
Maybe you don't have the systems in Brazil, but probably everybody's going crazy around carnival time, for example, if you're from Rio. Or, I don't know, like every region and every culture has their own aspects that some of them might be exciting for you, but maybe they get you out of yourself because you're too excited. So I would say it's not a good idea to be doing any kind of planning when you're too excited or too depressed. Maybe there's a point in between. If you're avoiding, though, I would challenge that you should do it, even if it's going to be a small task. So, getting organized doesn't mean that out of the bat you're going to have like a budget and a target amount for your safety net and a whole year plan. Depending on where you are, it could start from a very, very small thing. Like I had this client where we were aiming at literally what happens if you save 20 euros for a month. Like you don't touch it, like at all. Can you do that? Because in this case, it's not so much about getting a table. It's about getting the trust in yourself that you can do something as small as I'm going to put 20 euros here and I will not need them, right? Because depending on what experiences you've had with money in your life, what is getting in the way for you to start with that organization is something that requires rewriting what you feel and how you feel about that situation. Like, I have to spend this money. I have it here. I should find a way to spend it, right? And that brings me back to the importance of the space, right? Writing down, looking at things like we are creators of habit, and many of these habits we have built unconsciously throughout many years. For us to change them, we have to become conscious about them. And this is actually part of the work that I do with my clients at the beginning, depending on where they are. And some people will not have the patience to go through this because it comes with facing a lot of intense emotions. It comes with looking at yourself in the mirror. But it will come with, like, when you're feeling nervous about looking at your bank account or passing the card, like, or ignoring the bank notification, or the way you react when you get your pay slip, I want people to check the emotion they're feeling with any money interaction and analyze, like, you're going to connect with that moment. Mm-hmm. Is it a bank app? Is it an email that you get from your employer? Is it a phone call you get from your sister every month about the thing you never pay and you haven't paid? What is the thing that is triggering you, or that you're ignoring, or that it's making you angry, or that gets you dreamy, but then, like, it crushes you because I'm never going to be able to do that? And start kind of writing that down, stopping there and understanding what's happening, because before you can make changes, you need to understand what's happening. I think you actually work with people that are already in a place where they feel ready to change, and maybe they don't know where to start from, and you provide with a system.
Usually, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
People, they are like, I really want to make a change. Yeah, I have some people who has been talking to me like about more deepest in the feelings, and I was trying to develop that part there. I didn't succeed so well. That's why I met her, because now I have a partner.
Yes, we are like two sides of the same coin.
Yes, yes.
That coin, did you hear?
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. Yeah, actually, I've had the opposite situation, which is I want people to, okay, show me what I have to do. And it's not very practical at the beginning. Some people might get there after a session. That's okay. But many people will go through 6 sessions of, well, I will shake their world. I have to say, it's not something I necessarily enjoy. I enjoy helping people, but sometimes that goes through a period of chaos. And some people will just want to, and I'm like, maybe next time I should send them to Danusia if what they want is straightforward change. Because I think sometimes we're ready for change, but sometimes we're not. And if we're not ready for change, there's no template, there's no table, there's no notebook that's going to, because it's not the outside of what we do, it's what's in here, right?
Right, it's like looking at your closet and I want everything organized. No. You need to go there and dive into everything and buy some hangers. And
I actually love that example. Yeah, because it comes with that.
Everything needs a space.
But I love this dress, and maybe I will be able to wear it one day again. And it's that emotion that you don't fit in the dress anymore, and you're having this. I said I was going to diet. I said I was going to exercise. So it's not just taking out a dress or putting in a hanger. Right. It's a whole thing.
It's the whole thing. And I have a question for you, because usually people come to me with like, I want to invest, and there are a lot of people on internet that speak about, okay, you invest this money and you get $1 million, and that's what people want to hear. So they tell people what they want to hear. I'm like, sit here until we get in the investment part. We have 6 sessions, also about 5 or 6 sessions, and then I will show you how everything works. And then when you start to calculating, you're like, I need time, I need more money, or all these things. So why you think people just, they want to hear the lie?
Well, because facing the truth is kind of boring or disappointing. Like, they realize there's no way to become rich fast. Think think about it. If it was possible, how many people would really achieve it? How many people are out there, which is why I struggle so much with my Instagram, by the way, because I don't like selling lies or fast solutions, right? But how many people do you hear out there telling you that I'm gonna sell you the course to help you sell more? I'm like, are they selling me smoke? So I think you should be afraid of anyone that is telling you you're going to be able to retire in 5 years. Really? Yeah. Tell me, how come I haven't found out? I'm super good at my numbers and I've read all these books and I've done all these courses. Like, how? How do you do? Who are you scamming? Maybe they are going to retire in 5 years by telling everyone that they're going to retire in 5 years and they're just taking money from them. Yeah, so true. If anyone is giving you like do this in 3 steps and all you need to be doubtful, like worry about it. I wanted to make a quick pause, by the way, because I just realized it's only in here, for those who are listening, it's only in your head. I was pointing at my head because, let me tell you, this is the second or third time that Danusia and I tried to record an episode in the same room. And we finally are doing it if nothing goes wrong in the editing process, because we've had some issues with audio and whatnot, but we are here. And if you want to watch us, we also have a YouTube channel, so just look for Feel, Act, Money, Danusia, Maria, you will find us.
Yes, exactly, we'll be there.
Yes. So yes, you're not broke, you're just not organized. What else is important to remind people, or maybe what some tips can we give them?
Yeah, I think don't get desperate with the numbers. The math is important, but it's also important to have peace of mind.
Yes.
Right? The peace of mind is what works for you, or understand you better, or build a system personalized to you, and and go from there. Right?
Yeah, and I think it's important to highlight that peace of mind is not going to come the first time you sit to do it. The first time you sit to do it, maybe you'll get frustrated, maybe you'll have a small win because you learned something nice when looking at your numbers that you didn't know about. But it is over time. Like when we want to change something that is so present in our lives every day, like this happens with food, with exercising, with relationships, one time is not going to cut it. 1 month is not going to cut it. You have to give yourself time. And I know I'm going to say something that sounds boring because everyone says it, but that is one of those things that is true. Consistency. So if you want to get better at managing your money, you have to manage your money. I was just telling Danusia before we started recording that I started a new job 3 months ago. And before that, I was on my own. And I had savings. I was living off of my savings because I'm not great at selling. I was, having some clients, but I'm not really a salesperson. I really suck at it. So I had very uneven income every month. So for the most part, I was living off my savings. I know I was not going to run out of money right away, but there was something that was keeping me anxious, which is I was treating my budget the same way as I did before those 2 years when I had a regular income. And this is one where I made the mistake of not updating my system to my new reality. I did make some decisions like I'm not going to travel because it was no time to make those expenses if I really wanted to invest time in making my business work. But then I didn't really consider other things. So I was having a lot of stress, although I didn't have savings for 3 or 6 months. I had it for 2 years, like, whoa, right? But I was still so anxious. So there was an emotional element there. And I think it's because I was keeping to the same system. So a few months before I found a job, I had already made some changes. Like, I'm not going to wait until I run out of money. And the market is difficult. So in my head, I wish I had a job in a month. But in reality, it's probably going to take me 6 months. So being organized with your money also comes with gathering data about the world around you. You may want to earn a salary of 5,000, but look realistically. Where do you live? What are your skills? And who's paying for that amount of money? Is it realistic or not? Is it more like it's going to be 2,000 instead of 5,000? you can find ways to get creative and have like side jobs and whatnot, right? But it's good to check your wishes and desires with the reality of the world around you. So yes, I want to have a job in 1 month. I'm ready to go back to the job market, but it could take me more. So I needed to start before I ran out of savings. So I started updating my system, and then I got the job, and I made more changes. And it's been 3 months, and I have made even more changes to it. So, it's like the world around me is changing, and I need to update my systems to match it. But I wasn't feeling comfortable with the same format I was using before. So you have to also understand that even when you find a system that works for you, it might stop working in 6 months or a year because the world around you and you change, and that's okay.
That's true. And once you're speaking about time, Maria, another good reflection is when people say, well, I want to invest because I want long term, and then let's look 20 years ahead. And they're like, 20 years? And I'm like, but if you save or not, 20 years will pass.
Yeah.
So it's better if you save, because now I'm at a point that if I look back and I was like, oh, I could be better this before, but I didn't have the financial education. I started 10 years ago. So then 10 years passed so fast.
Yeah.
At least I did something, right? So the time, the mindset around time is also a little bit...
It's challenging.
Yeah, it's challenging. We think about, wow, 20 years. 20 years will pass anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like, nobody is thinking that they're going to die tomorrow, right? I mean, most people, I guess, if you have... Okay, I'm not going to go into those dark places. But most of us are dreaming of, like what you were saying at the beginning. Oh, I will do that when I retire. Which means you're hoping to live that long. If you're hoping to live that long, you're doing a favor to yourself by putting in something for you in the future. Like, it's like this is your favorite bar of chocolate, and you know that it's going to go out of market. So you go and buy some extra. So in a few months, when it's out of the shelf, you will still have some. Would your future self be happy with that? Probably yes. So I think to challenge that, maybe it's a good exercise to look in the past. Although there's a thing that psychologists do. People have a hard time imagining themselves old, but we have all this AI technology nowadays to help us. So what if you give some of your photos to AI? I just came up with this idea. And you tell it, like, how do you, make me, 20 years older, and this is what I imagine myself being. Give it your descriptions and prompts. See what those photos that it will come up with will do to you psychologically. Does it help you believe? That's what psychologists, researchers say, that it helps us putting more reality into us still existing in the future, and therefore helping us make better decisions today about that future. So maybe that's one thing you can do. Create an AI prompt, look at yourself in 30 years, 20 years from now, print it, and put it in front of you with the notebook that Danusia told you to bring, and start from there. Like,
right.
Where do I want her to be in 20 years from now?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's why AI is a big topic now. Yeah. Everyone wants to see things happening, right?
Yeah.
And I think the takeaways, we can do this.
I think we can. So,
I think for getting organized, first we need to always start with the safety net. We have spoke about this before. We need to build a system that works for yourself, as we are saying, personal finances. So take it personal.
Yes.
Think about your year from 1 month this year for the next year. It doesn't need to fit in the whole calendar. We are thinking about January through December. You can pick the time of the year that works better for you. Start writing down. Start thinking about the feelings that comes with when you're writing, right?
Yes.
Then, of course, you can use some tools to help you if you feel so that you should.
Yes. And if this feels like planning a whole year is too much, take it make it smaller, right? So, the safety net, where am I going to get the money from? Go back to that exercise of looking at your last 3 months of expenses and quickly classify them into must, nice, and wouldn't do again. The wouldn't do again is the ones that will tell you, oh, I could be saving from those expenses. Like I keep making that expense that I'm not happy about. What if I stop and instead put that money into a savings account? And yeah, on using tools reminded me that I know we're in key takeaways, but just remember
Yes.
that I started trying one of these local bank apps savings accounts, because I can set goals, how much I want to save, by when, and I can give it different names. There's the category of, is it for a house thing? Is it for traveling? Is it for health? Is it for my future self? So banks have created all of these tools to help us well with that. Give it a try. Check what your own bank offers to see if that version helps you. So until you learn how to create your own system, even if you don't like it, it can also help you understand, okay, it doesn't have this, so I want this in my own system, right?
Yeah, this is very personal, as you say, personal finances. So,
Yes.
yeah, this is wonderful. I love it.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys like it today.
Yes.
And
it is very important for us to also have this content reach other people. So if you're one of those people who listen but never click on like or anything, maybe at least share it with a friend. We will not know you share it, but at least they will get to our channel, whether you're in Substack or in YouTube. If you like what you hear, just share it with other people and help us spread the voice of educating people to manage their finances better with
yes,
a clear heart.
yes.
See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Yeah.